This is a KLH model R3100 stereo receiver. I'm going to try and fix this just for fun because it's not really worth a whole lot due to the fact that it's so cheaply made. It's supposedly rated at 100 watts per channel, but there's not much to it. Just the power supply on one side, the power amp itself in the middle, and that little board in the corner there is the tuner. And all the control circuitry is just in the front panel. But the problem this has is there's blown outputs on one channel. In fact, I've already I used one of the transistor insulators out of this in that Yamaha P5000S amp that I worked on a while back. So I need to get another insulator, but I've got some parts laying around. I'm going to try to make this thing work just for the heck of it, for something to do, and see how it sounds. But I think I got to get this amp board out of here. There's no access panel in the bottom, so I'm going to have to take this whole thing completely out to access these transistors and get them replaced. Here's the item of interest. I cleaned most of the dust off and getting ready to take the transistors out. I'm just going to unfasten all four of them and take them out and test them, see what they measure. I noticed this thing has those nasty Sanwa capacitors in it. And these things are notorious for being bad. I see them in a lot of flat panel TVs, especially like Samsung flat panels. And I really don't like these caps. I think that's what most of these are. Actually, no. What do these say? They say, I think it just says Shang on there, on those little caps. And these blue ones, yeah, Shang. All the caps in this thing are cheap. I'll test them. I have my ESR meter here today, so I'll give this a quick once over. I've got the old parts removed and the heatsink cleaned off. Here's the new stuff, and surprisingly the only thing I found bad was one of the output transistors, the 2SC5200, was open. The 2SA1943 tested good, and both pre-drivers tested good, so I must have had a bad connection to my meter when I was checking them before. But nonetheless, I'm going to replace those driver transistors with some new parts. And the original ones were, it looks like a 2SC2073 and a 2SA940, both made by Fairchild. I'm going to put in an MJE 15030 and a 15031. And a pair of genuine Toshiba transistors with the same part numbers as the originals. I think the original ones were generic. I can't really see a brand name on them anywhere. And all the resistors look okay, and I'll be checking the caps in a bit here. Time for the power-up test. I got impatient and put it all back together. Did a quick check over. Nothing really too far out of spec. I just want to see what it's going to do. I figured you guys might get a kick out of seeing transistors blow up in my face, so I won't bother editing the video if that happens. But here we go. Hey, I don't hear any more distortion. It actually sounds really darn good. Let's see if it can handle being cranked. Whew, that's loud enough. Impressive sound quality for a cheap piece of crap. Not bad at all. If you're wondering what the music is, it's this. Let's see here. They got one other video up here I want to check out. Kind of some down-tempo electronic music One of my favorite things to listen to when I'm in the mood. I think I'm going to get out the dummy load and see how this thing performs as far as the output power and stuff. I'm just curious. I've got the usual test jig set up. 8 ohm load on both channels, and I've got my scope and meter connected to channel 1. Let's see what this thing can do. Okay, that's as high as it'll go without clipping. 28 volts on the dot, pretty much. Let me move it to the other channel and see how even it is with that one. I just realized that I have my camera in 4:3 mode, so this will be a fun video to put together with 2 different aspect ratios. But anyway, I have about a 1 volt difference between the channels. Which is kind of unusual. It's probably because of the different driver transistors. But I'm going to round it down a bit and do a conservative rating on this. I'm going to say 25 volts AC clean on both channels and see what we get in the calculation here. Turn this back down. Now the heatsink is not nearly as warm as I expected it to be for running at full power like that for a while. But anyway, let's see. I equals E over R. It's 25 divided by 8 ohms. 3.125 amps times 25 volts. I have 78 watts per channel. This is about 80 watts per channel, so it if it is actually rated at 100, it's a little bit underrated. But I wasn't really expecting it to knock my socks off for how low end this thing is. But the sound quality was fairly impressive, so I can't really complain. It was a fun little quick fixer-upper. I might go through this thing later and maybe replace that other set of driver transistors, or even all the transistors, to make it more even, and then replace any caps that are out of tolerance and just have this thing kick around for a spare, or sell it for a few bucks. I haven't really decided yet. I wonder if the tuner works. One thing I've noticed relative to cheapness, this thing has a lot of noise. So I've actually got it on another input and it's still bleeding through from the CD input. And you probably can't hear it over YouTube, but this thing has a lot of hiss. Maybe it's in part due to the cheap little 4558 op amps in here. Maybe I can drop in some 4580s or some NE 5532 for a little better performance, but probably not really worth it. But that hiss is pretty annoying, actually. That's the loudest hiss I've heard out of a solid state receiver in quite a while. And it's like that at any volume level too. But anyway, moving forward. Well, the tuner works, but it sounds like crap. It's got more distortion than the last few I've worked on, that's for sure. I don't know if replacing those caps will help a little bit, but yeah, the tuner is definitely not a strong point on this receiver at all. Yeah, I better not turn that up because that's going to get my video muted, chances are. I'll try some more tunes here. think that's enough fun with this thing for tonight. I might work on it some more later, but now that it's functional, I think I'm going to put it on the back burner for now. It might clean up good, but who knows. It's just something to do for fun.